That dream of building your own home. It's huge. It's this massive leap of faith, really.
Oh, absolutely. You're putting so much trust and, let's be honest, a ton of money into one person, one company.
Exactly. And you just hope you expect it to work out. But what happens when when it all falls apart?
And the dream turns into, yeah, a complete nightmare.
Right. And the builder you trusted just vanishes. That's kind of the nightmare scenario, isn't it?
It really is.
And that's what we're diving into today.
Eh.
It's this story involving Captain Sandy Yawn, from Bravo's Below Deck Mediterranean.
Yeah, familiar face. What happened?
Well, her custom home build in Nocatee, Florida, it stalled badly. And it's not just her.
Ah, okay, so it's a bigger issue.
Seems like it. So our mission today for this deep dive
Okay.
is really to unpack what happened to Captain Sandy. See how it connects to her neighbors, look at what the builder is saying or not saying, and figure out what this all means, for anyone thinking about building or buying a new home. We're going to pull apart the sources we have and try to piece together what went down in Nocatee.
Okay, let's do it. Where do we start, Captain Sandy?
Yeah, let's start there. So the location is Nocatee, specifically a place called the Vista at 20 Mile, St. Johns County, Florida.
Got it.
She and her fiancé, Leah Shafer, they put $1.6 million into this house.
Wow. Okay, 1.6 million, that's significant.
It is. And Captain Sandy says the house is, quote, obviously not finished. And worse, the builder is, her words, MIA with all of our money.
MIA, missing in action, not good.
Not good at all. She said, we dipped into our bank account and used every penny we had. And now they think they need another, get this, $800,000 just to finish it.
800,000 on top of the 1.6 million.
Yeah. Leah Shafer basically said they're paying for this house twice.
Oof. I mean, an extra 800K, that's not just like finishing touches or minor delays, is it? What does that usually signal?
Well, you tell me. From your perspective, what does that kind of cost overrun point to?
Look, when you're talking about needing an extra, 50% of the original cost, it screams major problems.
Right.
It could be that the initial funds were just gone, mismanaged.
Yeah. Right.
Or, maybe the work that was done was so bad it needs redoing. Or the project sat exposed for so long, there's weather damage, expired permits, liens maybe.
So a whole cascade of issues.
Exactly. It's way beyond just calling the crew back. It often means starting over in some respects, navigating a whole new set of expensive hurdles. It shows how vulnerable homeowners are once they've paid out that much money.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the really worrying part is, like I said, it's not just Captain Sandy. This seems to be a pattern.
Okay.
Our sources mention another neighbor, Dmitry Fishkin. His place was supposed to be done like 18 months ago. Still not finished.
18 months overdue.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, and he's having to shell out an extra $500,000 or more himself, hiring his own crews, plumbers, electricians, the works.
So he's basically become his own general contractor just to get it done.
Pretty much. And he's apparently keeping a list.
Mm-hmm.
Says there are 15 homes still incomplete in their area, the Vista. Only 18 are finished.
Wait, 15 unfinished versus 18 finished.
That's what the source says he's tracking.
That's almost half. That's not just a couple of problem projects. That sounds, frankly, systemic.
Yeah.
When you see numbers like that, nearly half the build stalled, it points towards something bigger with the builder, like maybe serious financial trouble, or they just couldn't handle the workload, or maybe funds were being moved around improperly between projects.
Right.
It suggests a failure at the company level, not just the site level. And think about the homeowners paying mortgages month after month on houses they can't even live in. The stress must be immense.
Absolutely. And there's another story, Lisa Sparks. She said her family put their life savings into their home. She's furious with the builder, the Pineapple Corporation, and says they haven't seen anyone from the company in a year.
A year. It's just radio silence.
That's what she claims. And yeah, we hear about others too, paying mortgages on houses that should have been ready, maybe 2, even 3 years ago. It's like the whole neighborhood is stuck.
A whole neighborhood held hostage, essentially. Unbelievable.
So, okay, this brings us to the builder, the Pineapple Corporation.
Right. The name keeps coming up.
Their website talks about specializing in luxury homes, mentions projects in other high-end areas like Pablo Creek Reserve. Yeah. So, they present themselves as established high-end builders.
Standard marketing for luxury builders.
First Coast News tried to get a comment. They got an email back from the president, Spencer Calvert.
Okay, what did he say?
The statement was pretty brief. Pineapple Corporation is in communication with all parties involved to find an amiable solution. We do not disclose details of private negotiations.
Amiable solution. Private negotiations. That sounds Very standard corporate speak, doesn't it?
It does. What's your take on a statement like that in this kind of mess?
Well, it's legally cautious, which is understandable from that perspective. But for the homeowners, it's incredibly frustrating. It offers zero concrete information, no timeline, no admission of fault, no actual plan
It's a
described.
vague reassurance, maybe.
If you can even call it reassurance, it basically says, we're talking, but we're not telling you anything. It keeps all the power with the builder and leaves the people who've paid millions completely in the dark. It's a way to manage the PR fallout without actually committing to anything publicly.
Yeah, that lack of transparency feels significant here, especially when you look at Nocatee itself.
It's the overall development.
Right. The Welcome Center says over 10,000 homes sold there. Huge place. But here's a key point from the sources. The Pineapple Corporation. They're not on Nocatee's current list of approved developers.
Oh, interesting. They were, presumably.
Apparently, yes. Neighbors have screenshots showing Pineapple used to be on that list.
Okay, so they were endorsed by the community developer at one point, but now they're off the list. That's telling.
And it gets murkier. Attempts were made to contact the PARC Group. They're the master developer for all of Nocatee.
The big guys overseeing the whole thing.
Yeah. Calls reportedly were not answered.
So the builder's gone quiet, and the master developer isn't commenting either. What does that imply when the umbrella developer seems to be distancing itself?
What does it imply?
Well, look, that approved builder list from a master developer, that's basically a stamp of approval. It tells buyers, these are builders we trust in our community.
Right. It gives you confidence.
Exactly. So when a builder is removed, especially when there are all these complaints bubbling up, it raises big questions. Did the master developer know there were problems? What kind of oversight did they have? Are they trying to limit their own liability now?
And the silence just makes it worse.
It really does. It leaves homeowners wondering who, if anyone, is looking out for them beyond their own legal battles. It suggests there might be gaps in how these large developments are managed, how much accountability there really is when one of these third-party builders runs into trouble.
So, wrapping this up, this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's really laid bare a pretty shocking situation in Nocatee. You've got Captain Sandy facing this huge personal and financial hit, potentially paying double for her dream home.
A dream turned into a massive financial burden.
And it's not just her. It's a whole community of people, neighbors, stuck with unfinished houses, unexpected costs piling up, and just very few answers. That trust they put in the builder seems completely broken.
Utterly shattered, it sounds like. And this whole story, Captain Sandy's experience, her neighbors, it really underscores how much faith we put into builders.
Yeah.
It makes you step back and ask, doesn't it? What does this whole mess tell us about how crucial things like, I don't know, transparency, real due diligence, and maybe stronger protections are needed, especially in real estate and construction, where, people are investing their entire life savings.
Right. It's not just buying a product, it's building a life.
Exactly. And maybe the question for all of us listening is, what warning signs did people maybe miss? Or what signs should we be looking for to avoid ending up in a situation like this? What really needs to change to protect people chasing that dream?